Hi, KOIN 6 Meteorologist Josh Cozart live in the KOIN Now studio, where we have a lot of breaking news as far as the brush fire that is currently burning just outside of the Lee Falls area. This is just to the west of a lake called Hagg Lake, if you're familiar with it, in Washington County. That's where we are currently seeing a brush fire rapidly growing across our area. Of course, we're already starting to get some of those images into the KOIN Now studio. Here they are, really impressive stuff. Fire crews really trying to get the upper hand on this, as well as we continue to see wildfire season ramp up here across the Pacific Northwest. Not necessarily a sight that we liked to see, starting up as the hot and dry conditions once again build across our region. So again, thank you for joining us for this KOIN Now special edition. We are also live right now on KOIN 6 News over on Channel 6. That's where we are getting the latest updates. We're going to give you a little bit of a recap, and we are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube and TikTok, and also over at KOIN.com. We also have the latest information on those evacuation orders that are currently in place. So a lot of different avenues to get all of this latest information. Again, a brush fire starting earlier today. It's called the Lee Falls Brush Fire. It's located just to the west of Hagg Lake. And of course, you might be familiar with that because we've been talking about deaths happening, unfortunately, with drowning situations. Again, you can find that information over at KOIN.com. So I want to go ahead and first bring in our very own Ariel Yakabazi, and she's been covering this. She just arrived on the scene. This was from moments ago, where she continues to have the latest reports and updates. And we will go ahead and bring her.
Yeah, hey guys, we don't know too much as of right now. We actually just got to the scene. There's actually some roadblocks behind me. We're at Old Highway 47 in Scoggins Road. Just take a look right here. You can see people are still going towards the fire, which is likely something that you will not want to do. And if you look to your right, you can actually kind of see the remnants of a column of smoke. But again, we have better video for that. Just take a look at your screen right now. What I can tell you about this, it's the Lee Falls Road Fire, and it started at about 11 this morning, and it's fueled by brush, grass, and a few trees, according to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. At last check, the fire is at about 100 acres, and it's growing. So there are crews from every Washington County Fire Department and some from Yamhill to help battle these blazes. The thing with this fire is it could impact several homes in the area. That's forcing some level 3 go now evacuations that are now in place for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon, and the level 1 be ready evac order applies to areas between Southwest Sane Creek Road and Southwest Lee Falls Road. And Hagg Lake is also closed for planes to access the water and to help extinguish the fire. Now, a couple of other closures for you. Mount Richmond Road is also closed south of South Road, and Lee Road is closed between Patton Valley Road and Roberts Road. So you're going to want to find a different way through the area. And again, if you are in that level 3 go now evacuation area for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon, that's exactly what it means. Go now, have your go bags ready, and all of that. Now, we're told that the Scoggins Valley Church is being opened in just a few minutes for people who need to escape, or an evac center if you are in need of that. So that'll be open in the next few minutes. And we just got to the scene, and this is a quickly developing situation, but we'll be sure to check back in here at 5 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, and we'll have much more details coming up tonight on KOIN 6, 10, and 11. Back to you guys in studio.
And of course, that was Ariel Yakabazi again reporting out near the flames, and we can really kind of break down exactly where this fire is currently burning. You can see with the image to the side of me that we are seeing the fire burning again just to the west of the Hagg Lake area. So this is a little bit further west of the Hillsborough location. So not impacting Hillsborough whatsoever, but it is in Washington County, again, near Hagg Lake. And we'll go ahead and kind of zoom in and give you a better picture of exactly what's happening. The winds right now are primarily out of the north. So the winds, when we were talking about wildfires, that's kind of the driving factor in potentially pushing those fires in new directions. So with a northerly wind, that would definitely have the influence to push that wildfire just a little bit further to the south, along with all of the wildfire smoke. It's hard to actually make out a lot of that smoke right now because we are so smoky from so many different fires burning here across the Pacific Northwest. But it's hot out there also, so that's helping to dry out a lot of the vegetation, in addition to the dry conditions we have already been experiencing. So 94 degrees out towards Hillsboro. Again, there are level 3 go now evacuations in place for this brush fire. You can see some of the images below me of the smoke billowing up pretty much from the Hagg Lake area. This coming in from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. So you can, of course, get the latest information on those evacuation zones right now at KOIN.com. Again, I want to talk about those winds. This is where they're expecting to transition ever so slightly. Right now, out of the north, anywhere from about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Then they transition and they move from west to east. This will be good news because it would potentially push the fire closer to the lake, helping fire crews kind of get the upper hand on it. In addition to that, with those westerly winds, that is a good influence for helping clear out the wildfire smoke that's already polluting the skies up and down the I-5 corridor, but then also potentially helping to remove a lot of that smoke and also potentially help increase the relative humidity values. So that would in turn help fire crews, again, kind of get the upper hand on this blaze. As we are currently looking out towards the Forest Grove area, this is our closest camera, thanks to Explorer Tualatin Valley, to the fire. Of course, it's just kind of smoky, hot, and hazy. Forest Grove temperatures right now at about 94 degrees, winds out the north at about 3 or so. So this is going to continue to be an ongoing situation where we keep a close eye. Again, Forest Grove, nowhere near the fire, but this is the closest camera we have to kind of give you a live, better idea of exactly what is going on. Now, as far as our fire weather danger goes, we got about a level 2 on the dial. As we zoom into the area, that's where we still hold on to that potential. But a fire's already started. It's already spreading due to those hot and dry conditions that we've been experiencing. So again, something that you need to be cautious about. Again, feel free to share this with any family members who might be out in Washington County. You can hit the share button here on Facebook, YouTube as well by copying the link, and we're also live here on TikTok. Feel free to ask any questions, have comments, concerns. That way we can continue this conversation and make sure that everybody is up to date on the latest and the latest. Right now, we are live on KOIN 6 News on television. That's where you can watch us on Channel 6. We're live all the way through 6:30 again at 10 and 11. 10 o'clock will be on the CW channel, and then 11 o'clock, or again, on KOIN 6. But we are live right now on the internet, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. So have the interaction with us. We'd like to give you the latest updates and information on this changing weather pattern as the KOIN 6 weather alert still remains in place. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go back to the top of my show, give us a little bit of a debrief of exactly what is happening in our area. We'll take a live look right now, I believe, out over the Vancouver waterfront. We are currently seeing our air quality here in the city of Portland and parts of Vancouver at a count of about 84. That puts us in the moderate level. So still suffering with the air quality across much of the Pacific Northwest. Has the potential to fall back to the unhealthy for sensitive groups area, especially when those cooler overnight lows come in. That has the potential to kind of push some of the particulates closer to the surface, decreasing our air quality in addition to the high heat that we've been experiencing. It kind of mixes in with the ozone. It fires up the pollutants that are being put out into the atmosphere as well. So less than ideal amount to be spending any time outside. And you can see, already parts of Marion County falling back into that unhealthy for sensitive groups area. That's all due to a fire burning just outside of the Mount Adams area. Started by lightning not too long ago, several days ago, of course, and all of that wildfire smoke now moving from the north to the south, and that just so happens to end up right here in the Willamette Valley. So that is why we are keeping a very close eye on that situation in much of the state, falling back to the moderate, if not in the unhealthy for sensitive groups, and even hazardous conditions out towards far western sections of Idaho as well. So something we are keeping a very close eye on here across the Pacific Northwest is not only us here in Western Oregon and Southwest Washington, but much of our area is still dealing with the wildfire smoke. The good news is there is improvement with the air quality, expecting it to clear out through the I-5 corridor. The caveat is if we start seeing a lot of smoke being produced by the fire, the Lee Falls brush fire that is out towards Washington County, with that wind directional change, that would funnel all of the wildfire smoke again back into the Portland area as we work our way through the next 24 hours or so. Let's hope that fire crews can get the upper hand on this blaze before that smoke becomes an issue, and then that would kind of change the whole setup of what we're talking about with our clearing conditions. So again, the headlines that the poor air quality does remain just that, on the poor side of things. And we'll again show you some of the images of fire crews trying to fight the blaze that is currently happening out towards Washington County, just to the west of the Hagg Lake area. This is called the Lee Falls Brush Fire, and there are level 3 go now evacuations underway in some of those locations. Again, just a better idea of exactly where that fire is located, if my computer will cooperate with me here. Just to give you a visual map indication of where it is. There's Portland, currently at 96 degrees, 94 in Hillsborough, so the high heat not helping the situation for us. And we are seeing those winds primarily out of the north. If you're just now joining us, that's where we continue to see the potential for the fire to move from the north to the south in Washington County, again, just to the west of Hagg Lake. And those winds, we are expecting to see them pick up slightly, but out of the west, nearing about 15 miles per hour by about 8 o'clock tonight. This is what fire crews really like to look at very closely to potentially see where that fire might be moving within the next several hours. So they're going to try to set up a perimeter to the south, to the west, although Hagg Lake is going to be a good natural barrier to potentially stop the fire from pushing its way further to the east in Washington County. So again, the very close eye on this whole situation, as it has the potential to develop quite rapidly. Again, as wildfire smoke continues to pollute our skies. If you're just now joining us either on this Facebook Live or also over on any of our streaming networks, YouTube, TikTok, KOIN.com as well, I want to go ahead and give you the latest update from Ariel Yakabazi, who's just on the scene about 30 minutes to 45 minutes ago. We'll take another closer look at her report.
Yeah, hey guys, we don't know too much as of right now. We actually just got to the scene. There's actually some roadblocks behind me. We're at Old Highway 47 in Scoggins Road. Just take a look right here. You can see people are still going towards the fire, which is likely something that you will not want to do. And if you look to your right, you can actually kind of see the remnants of a column of smoke. But again, we have better video for that. Just take a look at your screen right now. What I can tell you about this, it's the Lee Falls Road Fire, and it started at about 11 this morning, and it's fueled by brush, grass, and a few trees, according to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. At last check, the fire is at about 100 acres, and it's growing. So there are crews from every Washington County Fire Department and some from Yamhill to help battle these blazes. The thing with this fire is it could impact several homes in the area. That's forcing some level 3 go now evacuations that are now in place for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon, and the level 1 be ready evac order applies to areas between Southwest Sane Creek Road and Southwest Lee Falls Road. And Hagg Lake is also closed for planes to access the water and to help extinguish the fire. Now, a couple of other closures for you. Mount Richmond Road is also closed south of South Road, and Lee Road is closed between Patton Valley Road and Roberts Road. So you're going to want to find a different way through the area. And again, if you're in that level 3 go now evacuation area for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon, that's exactly what it means. Go now, have your go bags ready, and all of that. Now, we're told that the Scoggins Valley Church is being opened in just a few minutes for people who need to escape, or an evac center if you are in need of that. So that'll be open in the next few minutes. And we just got to the scene, and this is a quickly developing situation, but we'll be sure to check back in here at 5 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, and we'll have much more details coming up tonight on KOIN 6, 10, and 11. Back to you guys in studio.
And of course, that was the latest update from about 30 to 40 minutes ago. Of course, you can see Ariel Yakabazi's reporting live on air on KOIN News right now. We are live on television, but also live right here in the KOIN Now studio. And I want to show you, because I was reading through some of the Facebook messages, people asking, Lisa was asking, how far away is the fire from Gaston? Great question. Gaston, well far enough to the east, not in the evacuation area. Yes, you are in Washington County, you're along the highway, but this fire is going to be closer to about the Cherry Grove area, a little bit further to the north of that. Again, this is just west of Hagg Lake. Gaston is going to be far to the east. So you are definitely in the clear, but of course stay up to date as this is impacting all of Washington County. But those level 3 Go Now evacuations, not for your area. No need to have cause for concern right now. And Chief Meteorologist Natasha Stenbach, she just ran in here and told me that we are able to get some visuals from the Tualatin Valley camera. I'm just trying to find that here real quick for all of us to take a better look of those smoky conditions that are currently visible out towards the Forest Grove area. Again, Forest Grove not in the direct path of this. There you go. There's the image. I'll go ahead and take that full force so you can actually see the fire in full as it's starting to pollute the skies. Again, this is a live look from the Forest Grove area from our Tualatin Valley camera. Explore Tualatin Valley. This is a live look at the smoky conditions that we are currently seeing just on the other side of that hillside. Of course, this is impacting just towards the Hagg Lake area. It's called the Lee Falls Brush Fire. Level 3 evacuation Go Now is currently in effect for some locations. You can find that exact spot right now at KOIN.com. I'm just reading a few more of your other comments here on Facebook. Brandon says, hi from Northeast Portland, Coley, Oregon, smoky skies. Unfortunately, that's the story across our areas. We continue to see those smoky conditions up and down the I-5 corridor. Much of Northwest Oregon, Southwest Washington, that is going to be a concern. Let's see here. Shauna just sending a note to Lisa, 5 miles or so. I believe that's in relation to the Gaston post as well. And again, I'm seeing Harry, you're tagging Allison, who might be an individual who is close to this. We are talking about the winds as well. We'll go ahead and kind of bring that back up into perspective. Out of the north, anywhere from about 5 to 10 miles per hour. That has the potential to move some of that wildfire smoke to the south out of Washington County. And then it does transition and becomes a little bit more westerly through the overnight hours. Picks up slightly at about 15 miles per hour. That's where we could potentially see the blaze move direction. The wildfire smoke, if the blaze continues to burn at the rate that it is, moving some of that wildfire smoke back into the Portland-Vancouver metro area. So as we've been talking about these clearing conditions, the improvement, maybe not necessarily the case if that fire continues to burn. And it's just that a big if. I believe last I checked it was about 100 acres or so. That was about 2 or 3 hours ago. I've been trying to prep for going live here and doing the 4 o'clock newscast. So those numbers sometimes slowly trickle in. What we do know is that there is a level 3 evacuation Go Now level for parts of this fire, again, burning just to the west of Hagg Lake, if you're joining us on this Facebook Live or over at KOIN.com as well. And I mean, this is just all part of the smoky conditions that we're seeing. I want to give you a live look right now out over downtown Portland. That's where those smoky conditions are seen. Not necessarily from the Lee Falls brush fire, but from all of the fires burning. Primarily, most of the smoke is from the fires burning just to the west of Mount Adams, but we are seeing these smoky conditions widespread. You can see from our Stoller camera kind of close to the fire, but again, not in the direct path or anything like that, but just a visual that's closer to Washington County where the smoky conditions are widespread out that direction. A much different picture out towards Seaside. That's not smoke. It's actually fog that is developing, or the marine layer impacting the folks having a good time out at the cool conditions experienced in Seaside for the volleyball tournament that goes all the way through the weekend. But out towards Ridgefield, you can see the smoke and haze off in the distance, just the same out towards Government Camp. Smoky air is going to remain on the docket for us. But again, I want to pull up that Tualatin Valley camera so you can see, I just got to locate it here, where the wildfire smoke is currently being picked up. And I'm not finding it thus far, so we'll go ahead and we'll flip it back over to this, where the smoky conditions are definitely visible at this point in time. I'll go ahead and take that full so you can see it. Not a big smoke plume, so that's the good news. But just adding to the pollutants, the poor air quality that we're seeing across the region, just really impactful as the Lee Falls brush fire continues to burn, started earlier today. You can get the latest info on the evacuation orders. There is a level 1 for some folks, a level 3 for others. Of course, that level 3 go now closer to where the flames are actually burning as fire crews try to get the upper hand. Again, Jeremiah, thanks for tagging Eduardo for this post. Patricia says, praying for all who is in harm's way. And again, this is unfortunately a situation that we've all become so accustomed to over the past several months because of how hot, how dry our conditions have been here in the Pacific Northwest. And that's just really kind of adding fuel to the fire, to say the least. And unfortunately, to say the least, because if you've lived here for any amount of time, 5, 10, 15 years, you've noticed that these fire seasons have become more active, more frequent earlier in the season, later into the season. Keep in mind, we still have all of August, our second driest month of the year, just behind July, which we only managed to pick up, I think, 7/100ths of an inch of rain. So it's been dry. It's been hot. We've already had our fair share of triple-digit heat. We've already had our fair share of 90-degree heat, upwards of almost about 15 days or so. So when you add all of that, along with the very wet spring that we experienced, to allow for all of that brush and vegetation to grow so rapidly, with the hot and dry conditions drying everything out. So that means more additional fuel for those fires that could potentially start and spread. Of course, we don't know the cause of this fire right now. That's going to take fire crews additional time to really get the best understanding of that. But we're talking about the hot conditions still remaining. 95 degrees out towards Forest Grove with our Explorer Tualatin Valley camera. Again, the smoke, you can see it right there in the center of that image as it continues to produce not only poor air quality, which we'll go ahead and just kind of check up on that as well, because these conditions are going to stay with us for the rest of the evening time frame. This is not something that's going to be like a light switch and just wash away for us rapidly. So do keep that in mind as we get that shown for you a little bit better of an image. Some locations in the Portland, Vancouver metro area currently falling back to that unhealthy for sensitive groups. If you happen to fall in that category, it's really best that you limit your time spent outside. So whether you be a sensitive group, whether you be a healthy adult or a kid, and make sure that you are staying indoors this evening. It's less than ideal to expose yourself to those smoky conditions, especially as the brand new fire continues to burn across our area. Now, if the fire behaves itself out towards Washington County, that onshore flow will help, and it already looks like we have the potential for some of that smoke, which you can see here on our model out towards Washington County, being produced with the unhealthy air quality in that prime area. So that would be the Cherry Grove area would be getting kind of bullseyes. Those winds are out in the north right now, and then they'll slowly start to transition a little bit more out of the west. An onshore flow that would increase the relative humidity value and decrease our fire potential potentially. Of course, that would also move the fire in a new direction. All of this coming as we have air quality advisories still in place through about 8 o'clock tonight. Would not be surprised if they are extended past that point, because the hazy conditions are expected to stay with us, with additional fires already starting across the region. You can see with our surface smoke, just kind of time everything out. The worst of the smoke now just starting to move its way a little bit south out of Multnomah County and into parts of Clackamas and Marion County as well. And as we put it into motion, you can see that onshore flow really kind of pushing it out of our area. Still really thick through the northern sections of Clark County as the fire, the major fire producing a lot of the smoke in our area is the fire burning just to the west of Mount Adams. Of course, another look at that fire currently burning out towards Washington County. That is the Lee Falls brush fire. And right now it's just to the west of Hagg Lake. You can see some of the images below me where we are seeing that level 3 go now evacuation in place for some. And of course, we have the latest information right now at KOIN.com. Just going to read through some of your comments and concerns here. I'll take this full so we can get a better idea. Just let me refresh the page here. And again, we're live on Facebook as well, where you can ask any of your questions, comments, or concerns along with Facebook. And we have all the latest information right now at KOIN.com. Again, this is KOIN Now. This is KOIN's brand new live streaming studio, so we appreciate you tuning in to get the latest information readily available, no matter where you are, away from your television set. We are the source of news in your pocket, and this is going to be the easiest way for you to stay informed as wildfire season continues to ramp up here across the Pacific Northwest as the fire concern does just the same along with the high heat. That's why we've got that KOIN 6 weather alert in place today due to the high heat, the poor air quality, and unfortunately now the fire concern starting up as well. And you've all been joining us on TikTok live as well. This is an ongoing situation, Lee Falls brush fire update. And if you're just now joining us, I'm going to go ahead and bring in Ariel Yakabazi. Some of you may have already seen this report. I want to just reiterate that this is a changing time. I was only able to save over Ariel's one hit, but we have the latest information right now on KOIN News on television. That's where you can see the latest information and the latest reports. So I'll go ahead and give you Ariel Yakabazi on the scene from about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, hey guys, we don't know too much as of right now. We actually just got to the scene. There's actually some roadblocks behind me. We're at Old Highway 47 in Scoggins Road. Just take a look right here. You can see people are still going towards the fire, which is likely something that you will not want to do. And if you look to your right, you can actually kind of see the remnants of a column of smoke. But again, we have better video for that. Just take a look at your screen right now. What I can tell you about this, it's the Lee Falls Road fire, and it started at about 11 this morning. And it's fueled by brush, grass, and a few trees, according to the Washington County Sheriff's Office. At last check, the fire is at about 100 acres, and it's growing. So there are crews from every Washington County Fire Department and some from Yamhill to help battle these blazes. The thing with this fire is it could impact several homes in the area. That's forcing some level 3 go now evacuations that are now in place for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon. And the level 1 be ready evac order applies to areas between Southwest Sane Creek Road and Southwest Lee Falls Road. And Hagg Lake is also closed for planes to access the water and to help extinguish the fire. Now, a couple of other closures for you. Mount Richmond Road is also closed south of South Road, and Lee Road is closed between Patton Valley Road and Roberts Road. So you're going to want to find a different way through the area. And again, if you are in that level 3 go now evacuation area for Southwest Oak and Southwest Nixon, that's exactly what it means. Go now, have your go bags ready, and all of that. Now, we're told that the Scoggins Valley Church is being opened in just a few minutes for people who need to escape, or an evac center if you are in need of that. So that'll be open in the next few minutes. And we just got to the scene, and this is a quickly developing situation, but we'll be sure to check back in here at 5 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, and we'll have much more details coming up tonight on KOIN 6, 10, and 11. Back to you guys in studio.
And if you're just now joining us, you are taking a live look from our Tualatin Valley camera out of Forest Grove as a fire has started earlier in the day, now producing not only smoky skies, but also evacuation orders. A level 3 evacuation go now is currently in place for some locations. Thank you so much for joining us here on this KOIN Now news update. You just heard a report from our very own Ariel Yakabazi. Of course, we are now about 30 minutes or so into our live report. Just wanted to give everybody, again, a refresher. If you're just now joining us live on all networks, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and also over at KOIN.com. This is our brand new way of giving you the latest important information that you need to know on the go, right in your pocket, on your phone. And it's interactive. We encourage you to ask us questions, and we'll try to get those answers for you as quickly as possible during this live event. As it is currently 95 degrees out towards the Forest Grove area, you can see the smoke billowing up from behind the hillsides as the Lee Falls brush fire burns just to the west of the Hagg Lake area. I'm going to go ahead and bring in just some of these images as well just below us, coming in from the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Just incredible sights as the fire crews are trying to fight this fire from the air. It started as a brush fire earlier in the day. Of course, the hazy conditions just adding fuel to the fire and increasing that potential as this blaze continues to be a big cause for concern. I want to give you a better idea of where this fire is actually located. Of course, if you just saw Ariel's report, she was out towards the Gaston area. Of course, this fire not anywhere near there. We are keeping a safe distance from the fire ourselves because there are level 1. Be set, and there are also, or be ready, I should say, and level 3 go now evacuation orders currently in place across those areas. You can get the latest information right now by going to KOIN.com. That's KOIN.com to get the latest information on this blaze as it continues to scorch parts of Washington County, starting as a small brush fire, rapidly growing in size as those hot summer temperatures remain 94 degrees out towards Hillsborough. Of course, this fire not impacting us at all in the Hillsborough area. It's way too far out from there. That's the good news. So the fire is still currently burning. It's called the Lee Falls Fire, and it's near Hagg Lake. It started earlier today as the hot, dry conditions have only not helped, I guess you should say. The fire crews. Now, we like to talk about winds as well. These are the forecasted wind levels that we are seeing out of the Cherry Grove area. So that's a little bit further south of where the fire currently is. So we actually don't have any sensors right where the fire is currently burning. But out of the north at this hour, anywhere from about 5 to 10, closer to 15 mile per hour gusts. That's out of the north. That means a lot of the wildfire smoke is pushing its way further to the south. Now, as it does so, it has the potential to move in that direction as well, but then even potentially moving its way a little bit further to the east. That would act as Hagg Lake being a natural barrier for fire crews to stop this fire in its tracks. As westerly winds start to pick up, that's where we could see them gust near about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Less than ideal when we are talking about rapid wind change. We like to see some consistency, but in this case, it might actually help a lot of the fire crews as well. We're watching some of the Facebook comments right now, just getting into us. What about Portland, Oregon? Portland is not in the threat of this fire whatsoever. That's the good news. This is out towards Washington County. That is west of the Portland area, just kind of on the outskirts of the metro area. So again, this is primarily for Washington County. Does not include the Portland, Oregon area, but nonetheless impactful for all of us in the Pacific Northwest, as it's just an additional fire adding pollutants, the wildfire smoke, back to our skies. But of course, our friends far west of Hillsborough, out towards the Hagg Lake area, this is where we are currently seeing the Lee Falls brush fire currently burning. Now, those winds have the potential to start to kick up a little bit throughout the overnight hours, nearing about 15 miles per hour. We don't like to see the winds ramp up because that just adds that concern for our area. Again, I'll just show you an image of the smoke plume from our Tualatin Valley, Forest Grove Explore Tualatin Valley camera here. You can see the smoke and haze just over the other side of the hillside. Again, this is out towards Washington County near the Hagg Lake area. Temperatures at about 94 degrees, and the winds out of the north-northwest anywhere from about 3 to 6 miles per hour we have seen as of late. So this is an ongoing threat potentially for folks in Washington County. Fire crews are working diligently to try to get the upper hand. You can see that with some of the images just below me here on this KOIN Now live news feed as the Lee Falls brush fire continues to burn. As far as that fire concern goes, we've kind of turned up the dials for some of us, anywhere from about 2 to 3, but you'll notice much of the Portland metro area, the Columbia River Gorge, relatively low. That's the good news, despite how hot temperatures are, but we are expecting to see a bit more of an onshore flow increase the moisture count, the humidity, so it's going to start to feel a little muggy out there for us, but nonetheless, this is good news to keep it low. But we've already got fires burning. We're already polluting our skies, so that is a bit of a concern. I want to show you some of those red sunsets and sunrises that we've seen, likely going to be the case again tonight as these fires continue to pollute the skies and as our air quality continues to suffer across the area. I also just, I'll go ahead and flash you guys our 7-day forecast. That's where we have the potential for this heat to continue for yet again another day. We'll take it full so you get a little bit better of an idea. But this is where we have the potential again for high heat to keep that fire threat elevated. Not to mention that, but we also have the potential for some thunderstorm activity to ramp up tomorrow as well. This is primarily going to be over the Cascades, points east, but nonetheless a potential, and that could, if it's not wet enough, start and spread brand new wildfires. Nothing in the severe realm, but it is a possibility to see a bolt of lightning, rumble of thunder, although it looks to be minimal for the Portland, Vancouver metro area. I do want to show everybody a little bit of an update here with our current air quality. You can see, let me actually just back this up so we can see the metro area. Parts of Clark County, the Vancouver area, central, west central sections of Multnomah County, eastern sections of Portland, falling back to the unhealthy for sensitive groups. So you want to make sure that you are limiting your time spent outdoors during this high pollutant period of time. As we zoom out, you can see the entirety of the state falling back to those moderate air qualities. Further south, places like Medford, all of those counties falling back to the unhealthy category. This is going to be an ongoing trend. I'm just going to go ahead and take this full so I can read some of our Facebook comments. How does that smoke affect the air quality? That is a fantastic question. So as the smoke, in particular the Lee Falls brush fire, it could potentially worsen our air quality here within the next several hours as those winds come out of the west. What that's going to do is push all of that wildfire smoke back into the Portland, Vancouver metro area. All of the smoke particulates float around in the atmosphere. You then add heat to that. And then you're taking all of the pollutants from vehicles, commuters, from buildings, all of the pollutants that we pump out into the atmosphere every day. That's added into the heat. So that also adds poor air quality. So when you get that, along with the fire particulates, pieces of ash, trees, in some cases even buildings, if the fires move in that location, and we're talking about even fires burning up and down the Cascades, the fire burning that started by a lightning strike just to the west of Mount Adams a couple of days ago, I should say, all kind of fueling into that. So hopefully I was able to answer your question there, Jeremiah, on how the smoke is affecting our air quality. Again, falling back to that moderate to unhealthy category. And even if you're a sensitive group or even an adult, limiting your time outside is going to be a must for us as we work our way through really the next 24 hours or so, because I see very little improvement likely. And you can see that here as we expect that onshore flow to kind of clear out our conditions. But you'll notice out towards the Washington County area, that's where we are currently seeing the smoke being picked up by that brand new Lee Falls brush fire. So something to keep a very close eye on here as we work our way through the rest of this evening. Of course, fire crews trying to get the upper hand, but I would not be surprised if you're in places like Hillsborough over the next 2 hours or so, due to that wind direction change, you might be picking up on a little bit more of that wildfire smoke smell. That would not be surprising to me. If my computer unfreezes here, try to get you a view of that smoke directional change due to the winds. Now, these are the winds near the Cherry Grove area, likely going to be the case for the Lee Falls brush fire as well. All pushing that wildfire smoke into places like Hillsborough. So I would, again, not be surprised if you actually pick up on some of the smell of the smoke here within the next several hours as those winds move from the north, from the west within the next several hours again. Trying to pull up that Tualatin Valley camera so we can just take a closer look again at our current air quality. Still seeing the plume of smoke billowing up into the atmosphere, again, from the Lee Falls brush fire. I'm going to go ahead and take this full. This will conclude our KOIN Now special live edition. Thanks for joining us for about the past 40 to 45 minutes. You can get the latest updates with KOIN 6 News starting at 6 o'clock on Channel 6. Again, you can get your late evening update on the CW at 10 o'clock, an hour-long newscast, and then back on KOIN 6, that's CBS, on television, starting at 11 o'clock tonight. But again, the first live update is going to be at 6 o'clock, where we have crews on the scene of the Lee Falls brush fire burning just to the west of the Hagg Lake area. Again, thank you for joining us, and have a safe rest of your evening.